If you receive Social Security C or disability benefits, there's something you need to check before February 25th. And most people have no idea it even applies to them. This isn't about a small paperwork detail. This is about whether your next payment shows up on time, or whether it gets delayed, frozen, or sent into a mess that takes weeks to untangle. And the most dangerous part? You could be affected and not even know it. Your payment may have arrived last month without any issue. Everything may look perfectly normal, but right now behind the scenes, there is an ongoing verification process. And if something in your file doesn't match up or hasn't been updated, the clock is ticking whether you realize it or not. I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening, who needs to pay attention, and the simple steps that can protect your benefits before that February 25th deadline hits. Because let's be honest, this isn't extra money. This is grocery money. This is medication money. This is rent and electric bill money. And when something threatens that, even quietly, you deserve to know immediately and clearly, in just a moment. I'll explain the most common trigger that catches people off guard. And it's something many people assume was already handled. Hi, I'm Susan Harper. And if you're new here, I focus on breaking down Social Security, SSI, disability and Medicare updates in plain, calm, straightforward language, so you actually understand what's going on with your money. I know how overwhelming government letters can feel. I know how frustrating it is when deadlines aren't explained clearly. And I know that for many of you retirees, people living with disabilities, widows, caregivers, these benefits aren't optional, they're essential. My goal is to make sure you're never blindsided by a rule change, a deadline, or a technical issue that could have been handled ahead of time. So today, we're going to slow this down, step by step, and make sure you know exactly what to check and exactly what to do before February 25th, so your benefits stay protected. Now let's talk about what's actually happening. Because once you understand this part, everything else becomes much clearer. The Social Security Administration regularly runs verification reviews on beneficiary accounts. That means they double-check the information they have on file. Your address, your direct deposit details, your name, your earnings records, and other identifying information. To make sure everything still matches and is up to date, this isn't new. Financial institutions and government agencies do this all the time. But what makes this moment important is that certain accounts have been flagged for confirmation or update, and when that happens, there's usually a deadline attached. Right now, for some recipients, that deadline is February 25th. If something in your file needs to be confirmed, and it isn't handled in time, your payment can be paused until the issue is resolved. Not cancelled forever, not erased, but delayed, and when you depend on that money, even a short delay can create a serious problem. Here's the part that concerns me the most. Many people don't realize their account needs attention because they never saw the notice. Sometimes the letter was sent to an old address. Sometimes it was overlooked. Sometimes it looked like routine mail and didn't feel urgent. Meanwhile, the review process continues, and that's why I want you checking proactively, rather than waiting for a problem to show up. The good news is this: in most cases, the fix is simple. We're not talking about complex legal battles or endless paperwork. We're talking about making sure your information is accurate. And if this kind of clear, step-by-step explanation helps you feel more in control, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future updates like this. I focus on catching these issues early, before they turn into payment surprises. Now let's walk through the most common triggers that can cause a payment delay during a verification review. The first, and this one surprises a lot of people, is an outdated address if you moved any time in the past year or two and updated your address with the post office, but never updated it directly with Social Security. Those are two completely separate systems. Mail forwarding does not permanently update your address in the SSA's records. So if they sent you a notice asking you to confirm something, and it went to your old address, you may never have seen it. From your perspective, everything looks normal. From their perspective, they're waiting on a response. And that gap is where delays begin. The second major trigger is bank account changes. Direct deposit is incredibly convenient until something changes. Maybe you switched banks, maybe you closed an old account and opened a new one. Maybe your bank updated account numbers after a merger. If the account information Social Security has on file no longer matches an active account, the payment can bounce back. When that happens, the funds don't just magically reroute. They go back into processing, and that can take time to correct. If you've made any banking changes recently and haven't confirmed them through your My Social Security account, this is something you absolutely want to check before February 25th. The next category involves life changes. Events that feel personal but also have administrative consequences. Marriage or divorce can mean a name change that needs to match Social Security's records. The death of a spouse can affect survivor benefits or payment amounts if you're receiving benefits while still working. Changes in your income matter too. Social Security has earnings limits, and if your income is increased or decreased significantly and hasn't been reported, it can trigger a review. Even moving to a different state or changing your living arrangements can sometimes require updates in the system. None of these situations automatically means something is wrong. But if the information on file doesn't reflect reality, that's when reviews turn into delays. And here's something many people don't immediately connect. Your Social Security payment and your Medicare coverage are often linked for many beneficiaries. Medicare premiums are automatically deducted from their monthly Social Security payment. So if a payment gets delayed or paused, it can create confusion or disruption on the Medicare side as well. Now, that doesn't mean you instantly lose coverage, but it can create complications that are much easier to prevent than to fix. That's why this isn't just about one deposit hitting your bank account. It's about protecting the entire chain of benefits that support you, month after month. In the next part, I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do, step by step, so you can check your account and make sure nothing is missing, outdated, or at risk before that February 25th deadline arrives. Before we go into the exact steps you should take, I need to pause for a moment and talk about something that tends to happen every time there's news about Social Security deadlines, reviews, or possible payment interruptions. Scammers pay attention to this stuff. They know that when people hear words like verification deadline or benefits at risk, it creates anxiety. And anxiety is exactly what they try to exploit. You might receive a phone call from someone claiming to be from the Social Security Administration, telling you that your benefits are about to be suspended and that you need to confirm your Social Security number or bank details immediately. They may sound official. They may even spoof a phone number that looks legitimate. But I need you to remember this very clearly. The real Social Security Administration does not randomly call you, demanding sensitive information, threatening you, or asking you to send money, wire funds, or buy gift cards to fix a problem. That is not how they operate. If you receive a call like that, hang up immediately. Don't argue. Don't try to outsmart them. Just hang up if you're genuinely concerned afterward. You can contact Social Security directly at their official number, 1-800-7 721213 and ask about your account yourself. Taking control that way protects both your money and your identity. And this matters because, while we're talking about protecting your monthly payment, we also need to protect you from losing money to fraud in the process. Now let's move into what you should actually do before February 25th. To make sure your benefits are secure, the first and fastest step is to log into your My Social Security account at sa.gov if you already have an account. Sign in and review your profile carefully. If you don't have one yet, creating one is free, and it gives you direct access to the information the SA has on file for you. Once you're logged in, look at your contact information. Is your address current? Is your phone number correct? If you've moved recently, even if it was months ago, make sure the address listed there matches where you actually live today. Next, check your direct deposit details. Confirm the bank name, routing number, and account number are accurate, and reflect the account that is currently open and active. If you've switched a banks, closed an account, or made any changes, this is where you verify that everything was properly updated. This step alone can prevent the majority of payment delays. Caused by return deposits, it only takes a few minutes. But those few minutes could save you weeks of stress. If you see anything outdated, update it immediately through the portal if the system allows it. In many cases, you can make corrections right there. If you're not comfortable using the internet or don't have reliable access, call Social Security directly at 1-800-772-1213. Their phone lines are open Monday through Friday, typically from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Be prepared for wait times, especially close to a deadline like this. I won't pretend those waits are pleasant, but they're far better than discovering your payment didn't arrive. You also have the option to visit your local Social Security office in person if you choose to do that. Bring proper identification, your Social Security card if you have it, and any documents that support the update you need to make, such as a utility bill showing your current address, or a recent bank statement confirming your account details. Being prepared can speed up the process and reduce the chances of needing a second visit. And if you're helping manage benefits for a parent, spouse, or loved one, this is especially important. Don't assume their information is current. Just because payments have been arriving regularly, take a few minutes this week to double-check. Log into their account if you're authorized to do so, or sit with them while you review the information together. A small amount of attention now can prevent a very stressful situation next month. In the next part, we'll talk about what to do if you check your account and discover there is already a problem, or if your payment has been delayed, and how to fix it step by step without panicking. Now let's talk about the scenario nobody wants, but that some people may already be facing. What if you log into your account or check your bank and realize something isn't right? Maybe there is a notice you missed. Maybe your direct deposit information doesn't match. Or worse, maybe your payment has already been delayed. The first thing I want you to do is take a breath. This is important. A delay feels scary, especially when bills are due. But most Social Security payment issues are fixable. The key is acting quickly and methodically instead of emotionally. Start by calling Social Security directly at 1-800-772-1213 when you reach a representative. Explain clearly what you're seeing. Ask specific questions. Is my account under review? Is there a missing document? Is there outdated information on file? What exactly is required to release or protect my payment? Don't hang up until you understand the next step. Write down the name of the representative, the date and the time of the call. Keep a small notebook just for this if you can. If they tell you to submit documentation, ask exactly what form they need. Whether it can be uploaded online, mailed, or brought in person. Clarity prevents back and forth delays. If you're asked to provide proof, like confirmation of your address or bank account, submit it as quickly as possible. And if you don't hear anything, within about a week after submitting documents, follow up. Don't assume silence means everything is resolved. A polite follow-up call can keep your case moving. This is one of those moments where being organized makes a real difference. Now, if your concern involves Medicare, maybe you're worried about premiums or coverage because your Social Security payment was interrupted. There's an additional free resource you should know about. It's called SHIP, which stands for State Health Insurance Assistance Program. Every state has SHIP counselors who provide free, unbiased help to Medicare beneficiaries and their families. They can explain how a Social Security disruption might affect your Medicare and what steps you can take to protect your coverage. You can find your state's SHIP program through Medicare.gov or by calling 1-800-MEDICARE. Many people don't realize this help exists, but it can be incredibly reassuring when health coverage is involved. And I want to pause here for just a second because this is important. If you know someone who depends on Social Security, with an elderly neighbor, a parent, a friend at church, share this information with them. A simple conversation could prevent a missed deadline or a delayed payment. Sometimes the people most at risk are the ones who aren't online, who don't follow updates, and to assume no news means no problem. Now there's another group that needs special attention right now, and that's individuals receiving supplemental security income, or CC. Works a little differently from regular Social Security, retirement or disability benefits because it's needs-based. That means your payment depends not just on your age or disability status, but also on your income resources and living situation if any of those factors change. If someone moves into your household, if your income increases or decreases, if you receive a lump sum of money, or if your living arrangements shift, you're required to report those changes promptly. Failing to report changes doesn't just risk a delay, it can lead to overpayments, which means the government may later ask you to pay money back, and that can create a financial strain that's even harder to manage. So if you receive SSI and anything in your life has changed recently, don't wait, report it now, even if you're unsure whether it matters. Call and ask. It's always better to clarify some front than to deal with corrections months later. February 25th is an important checkpoint, and using it as a moment to double-check your information can protect you from both interruptions and overpayment notices. In the next part, we're going to talk about two more groups who should be thinking ahead right now: those approaching retirement age, and those who want to make sure they're never caught off guard by a Social Security deadline again. Now, if you're not currently receiving benefits, but you're getting close to retirement age, this is the perfect moment to think ahead. Maybe you're approaching 62, which is the earliest age you can begin collecting Social Security. Retirement benefits, maybe you're nearing 65 and starting to think about Medicare enrollment. Or maybe you're planning for your full retirement age at 67. Wherever you fall on that timeline, one of the smartest things you can do right now is set up your My Social Security account before you actually need it. Creating that account early allows you to review your earnings record, confirm your personal information, and make sure there are no surprises sitting quietly in your file. Errors in earnings history are rare, but they do happen, and the earlier you catch them, the easier they are to correct. Waiting until the month you plan to file for benefits can create unnecessary stress and potential delays. Think of it this way. The application process goes much smoother when your information is already verified and current. Your address matches, your name matches, your employment history looks accurate. Your bank details are ready for direct deposit. Instead of scrambling to fix something, while also trying to start benefits, you are simply pressing submit on a system that's already prepared. Even if February 25th doesn't directly affect you today, using this deadline as motivation to prepare puts you in control later. Now, let's talk about how to avoid being caught off guard by situations like this in the future. One of the most powerful but underused tools inside your My Social Security account is notification settings. When you sign up for email or text alerts, you can be notified when changes are made to your account, when official notices are issued, or when action is required, instead of relying solely on physical mail, which can be delayed, misplaced, or sent to an outdated address. You're getting direct updates. That alone can dramatically reduce the chances of missing something important. Another habit that can protect you long-term is reviewing your benefit verification letter at least once a year. This document shows your current monthly benefit amount and confirms your status as a beneficiary. It's available through your online account, and it's often required when applying for housing assistance, loans, or other support programs. By checking it annually, you create a routine review point. You're essentially auditing your own information. Before a problem develops, if something looks incorrect, you can address it immediately, rather than discovering it during a crisis. And here's something that may sound simple but makes a real difference. Talk about this with the people around you. Social Security affects millions of households, yet many people don't discuss how it works until something goes wrong. If you've learned something helpful here, pass it along. Ask your neighbor if they've checked their account recently. Mention the February 25th deadline in a conversation. Offer to sit with a parent or relative while they log in and review their details. Sometimes protection doesn't come from a complicated strategy. It comes from awareness and community. We're almost finished, but I want to bring this back to the core message, because this part matters most. Social Security isn't a bonus. It's not extra spending money. For many people, it is the foundation that everything else is built on. And when something that important has even a small risk of disruption, it deserves your attention in the final part. I'm going to summarize exactly what you should do this week. Clear, simple, no confusion, so you can move forward knowing you've done everything necessary to protect your benefits before February 25th. Let's bring this all together in the simplest way possible, so you can walk away from this knowing exactly what to do before February 25th. Log into your My Social Security account at sa.gov. If you don't have one, create one. It's free and it gives you direct access to the exact information the Social Security Administration is using to process your payments once you're inside your account. Check 3 things carefully first. Your address, make sure it matches where you actually live right now. If you've moved, even if it was a while ago, confirm it's updated. Second, your direct deposit information. Double-check the bank name and account number. If you've changed banks or closed an account recently, make absolutely sure the current one is listed and active. Third, review your contact details and any messages or notices in your account. If there's a request for verification or documentation, don't ignore it. Handle it immediately. If you're not comfortable online, call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213 and ask a representative to confirm that your information is current and that there are no outstanding issues tied to your record. If necessary, schedule an in-person visit and bring identification, along with any documents that support updates, like proof of address or bank account details. The goal isn't to panic, the goal is to verify. A short phone call or a few minutes online can prevent a delayed payment that takes weeks to correct. If you receive SSI report any recent changes in income, resources, or living arrangements, even if you're unsure whether something counts, ask. Clarifying now prevents overpayment notices later. If you're helping a loved one manage their benefits, sit down with them and review everything together. Don't assume it's fine just because checks have been arriving. Confirm it, and remember, if you ever receive a threatening phone call demanding personal information or money to fix your Social Security, hang up and call the official number yourself. Protecting your benefits also means protecting your identity. The February 25th deadline is real. For some people it will pass quietly. For others it could determine whether March begins smoothly or with stress and uncertainty. The difference often comes down to one simple step: checking your information before the system flags a problem. You worked for these benefits, you paid into this system. Are you qualified for them through disability or survivor status? After life changed in ways you didn't choose. Either way, you earned the right to receive them without interruption. Taking a few minutes this week to verify your account is not overreacting. It's being responsible with something that supports your housing, your healthcare, your food, and your peace of mind. Don't assume everything is fine. Confirm it. Don't wait for a missed payment to tell you there was an issue. Get ahead of it, log in, review. Update if needed, make the call if you have to, and once you've done that, you can move forward knowing you handled it before the deadline. Not after. Stay informed, stay proactive, and most importantly, stay protected.